Welcome back to NATOR'S Game Picks, ladies and gentlemen. Week 4 in the books. We're looking a lot better this week. 11-5, 11 games right, 5 games wrong. Of the ones wrong, I had the Panthers. Panthers lost. I had them winning. The teams I'm saying lost are the ones that I had originally winning. The let's see here. The Rams lost. The Steelers lost. Jets lost, and the Buccaneers and the Eagles lost. So a couple scores I had very close. I had the Bills. No, I had the Seahawks and Lions. I had the Lions winning 33-29. Final score was 42-29. So I had the Seahawks 29 points right. So we just gotta get both teams right, and then it's all good. So without further ado, we're going to go into week 5. This is the first week of the season where teams are going to start taking their bye weeks. And then I think when we come back to when all teams are done taking their byes, I think it'll be closer to week 14 or 13. So let's go ahead and check out week 5.
Here comes the...
Let's jump into the Thursday night matchup. It's the Buccaneers at the Falcons, another division matchup for these two teams. The Falcons won the game last week against the Saints without scoring an offensive touchdown. They are home against the Bucs, who are coming off of a dominant win against the Eagles team. Mike Evans became the all-time leading scorer in the Buccaneers' history. Levante David is currently leading all active players with 30 forced career fumbles. This is a game where I think the Falcons actually execute. They come out here. Buccaneers have a lot of injuries. I think Antoine Winfield Jr. did not participate in yesterday's in Tuesday's practice, and the Falcons have everyone healthy besides some limited participants, which the Buccaneers had a long list of limited participants, including Tristan Wirfs on their offensive line. The Falcons have generated a high pressure rate through the first 4 games. I think they can potentially make some noise there, as they might look at what the Broncos did well against Baker Mayfield and this Bucs offense. The Bucs offense have a good two-headed monster at running back, Rachaad White and Bucky Irving. I expect for them to take advantage of this against the Falcons. But we'll see who comes out on top. I think this would be a fun Thursday night matchup. I think the Falcons take it home here. I think Kirk Cousins win. It's a home game, and they don't make it look. I don't think they rely as much on the defense this game, as I think the Buccaneers will look good early, but I think they might fail some more third down conversions and not be as sharp on offense this game. But I could be wrong. But I got the Falcons winning 29-24. Now we have our first London game. It's going to be early Sunday on our Stay Up Sunday games. The Jets at the Vikings. The Jets coming off of a sad loss last week without scoring an offensive touchdown. The Vikings survived the Green Bay. They are currently 4-0. This is going to be a good matchup as you want to see all-pro corner and Sauce Gardner against an all-pro receiver and Justin Jefferson. On the flip side, you got Byron Murphy lining up against Garrett Wilson. So I think this game is going to be a game where the Jets come out firing off early. But I think Brian Flores and this Vikings defense, I think they stifle them in the second half. I think they do a good job containing Aaron Rodgers, and I think they get after him. I think with Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, I think match up pretty fair against this Vikings front seven who's been on a tear. And I think they continue that. Although they did get exposed in some areas in the second half of the Green Bay game, I expect the Jets to try to take advantage of that. But with a high pressure rate, I think that can ruin the Jets' plans. I think the Vikings stay undefeated here, and they win in London 21-20 over the Jets. Panthers at the Bears. The Bears are at 500, won their first home game. Caleb Williams threw a touchdown pass to DJ Moore, who them two seem to have not been getting along or catching chemistry fully yet, but I think they're on track to doing that. Keenan Allen's back healthy for the Bears, and this defense was creating havoc last week against the LA Rams, which actually DeAndre Swift, another one who had actually had his coming out party and scored his first touchdown as a Bear. The Panthers look a lot different team under Andy Dalton, but still faces a lot of the same challenges. Adam Thielen got hurt. Too young. They've been running the ball pretty well too, but against this Bears front, I don't see them having much success unless they're slowing down the pressure with screen passes and well-executed plays to get pressure off the quarterback. But I think they get pressure on Andy Dalton. I think the Bears win here against the Panthers 27-16. Moving on now, we got the Ravens at the Bengals, another division matchup. Bengals survived against the Panthers last week. but gave up a lot of yards and gave up over 140 yards rushing to the Panthers. I think the Ravens are going to run it right down their throat. Derrick Henry, longest run in Ravens history last week against the Bills. I think they come out here continuing to do that, pound the ball, heavy personnel, and I think this matchup really favors the Baltimore, even on the road here. Although I can see the Bengals putting up some points. They've always taken advantage of the Ravens secondary in the past. Joe Burrow has and his crew of receivers, but I don't see it being enough against this consistently swarming defense. Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton, they look very good this year. So I do think that the Bengals fall to 1-4. The Ravens on the road here wins. I think they win 30-28, taking them above 500. Bills at the Texans. I think the Bills got punched in the face last week against the Ravens. They couldn't recover. Now they face another good opponent who came off of a home division win, so they're confident. They're hosting another home game. This is going to be one of those games where this could be a potential playoff matchup between these two teams. C.J. Stroud against Josh Allen. Josh Allen has been putting up MVP numbers so far, but had a letdown last week. And then the Texans with the leading receiver in Nico Collins will be matched up here against the Bills secondary, who's actually played pretty good football so far. But if the Texans have a healthy Joe Mixon back, I expect them to try to establish the run to get the defense off balance. They can take advantage of play action pass down the field. Without the play action pass element, it's harder for C.J. Stroud to operate against the pass rush when the Bills can generate pressure, much like the Vikings did against the Texans, and Stroud, the offense struggled. But I do think this. I think they have the more weapons here and the more experienced weapons with Stephon Diggs on that sideline as well. And I think the Texans here against the Bills, two very good teams. I think the Texans pull this one out. I think they win 31-28, giving the Bills 2 straight losses on the road. Now we go to another division game, Colts at the Jaguars. The Jaguars at home, currently 0-4. Had plenty of chances to sustain, hold on to that lead against the Texans last week and win. They gave up the lead late in the fourth, lost the game. Colts, Anthony Richardson got hurt again. Joe Flacco came in and took care of the job, managed the game. They played good against the Steelers at home, committed some turnovers, and that's what they kind of that's what the Colts were missing, because this is a very talented team. They run the ball very well. They're gonna I expect them to establish and stick to Jonathan Taylor for most of the game, considering it's not sure if Richardson will start or not. And with Flacco back there, he's very good at taking advantage of the play action pass if you get the running game established with Jonathan Taylor. So I think this is gonna favor the Colts on the road here, and then I see them coming out on top against the Jaguars team, who's certainly derailing in front of your eyes. I think the Colts win on the road here, 24-20. Moving on now, Dolphins at the Patriots. A lot of division matchups in Week 5. This time the Patriots are hosting the team, a team that currently is missing a quarterback. They started Tyler Huntley on Monday Night Football, who used to play for the Ravens. Couldn't generate even 100 yards passing, and the offense looked stagnant, looked bad. It didn't look like it was able to figure out its own routine and timing, and that affected the outcome, and a winless Titans team got their first win. This time around, the Patriots have only won one game. They got beat by a good 49ers team on the road last week. I think they bounce back here, as they're good at playing with a lead. They're built to play with a lead. And against the Dolphins team that can't muster much on offense, I expect them to have the lead early and hold on to it. Look for Christian Gonzalez to match up against Tyreek Hill. If I'm the Dolphins, I'll force feed Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. It doesn't seem like that's working, even based on the game from Monday night. So with that being said, I think the Patriots come out here with a win, with a good division win. I think they win 31-10. Moving on now, we have the Browns at the Commanders. This is the Browns' third NFC East team matchup, and it probably will be their hardest opponent. They played the Cowboys Week 1 and then the Giants Week 3. Lost both of those. Now they play a Commanders team that's super hot with Jaden Daniels all-time leading completion percentage holder for the first 4 games of his career. They're doing a very good job of running the ball and keeping the defense on their heels with a dual threat quarterback that can make accurate throws. This team is clicking on all cylinders for the moment, and looks to be hard to stop as they put up 42 points on the road against Arizona. Now they come home against a Browns team who can match up against their weapons very well. Greg Newsome, Denzel Ward. They have a very good defense. This front seven hasn't been generating as much pressure. I expect them to try to come after the Commanders here. But if they struggle to stop the run, then it's going to be, which they did against the Giants, who did run for over 100 yards as a team against the Browns. This could be hard for the Browns to overcome. Also, they're still struggling to protect their quarterback in the pocket, which is not helping them being able to keep pace with the team that's going to score some points. So I think the Commanders win here at home, 28-17, which means they would have won 4 in a row since they lost week 1. Moving on to the Raiders at the Broncos. Broncos now currently hosting their first division matchup. They're home against the Raiders. Raiders who may have some internal issues with their superstar receiver on the trade block or not. Gardner Minshew did just enough to win that game last week against the Browns. But I do think the Broncos here exploit something that the Raiders had struggled with, and that's defending the run. And Bo Nix won a game with 60 passing yards last week in a rainy New York field. So I expect him to come back to the Broncos, and they're going to be cheering. They're going to be a loud crowd. These two teams are gritty. They don't like each other. I expect a lot of penalties. I think the home team makes the fewest mistakes and stay disciplined. And I think the defense gets after Gardner Minshew here. Their defense is firing on all cylinders. Vance Joseph, the coordinator, did this last year as well. And years in the past, it's just been their offense. But I would like to see this being a good game for Bo Nix, where I think he'll pass for another passing touchdown. He had his first passing touchdown last week and connected with Courtland Sutton. I think Courtland Sutton is his favorite go-to target. So I do think the Broncos come out with a win here, 20-10. Moving on now, Cardinals at the 49ers. Cardinals, big home loss last week. They need to turn it around quick and in a hurry as a Niners team that's getting their groove back, running the ball down the field, play action passes. Brock Purdy was like averaging 12 to 14 yards per pass attempt last week against the Patriots. Everything deep, everything wide open, it seemed, through the schematic point. They have Deebo Samuel and George Kittle returned back last week, and I think they're going to be set to play against the Cardinals. And if the Cardinals can't keep the ball out of the Niners offense, possessing time, eating clock, long drives, they're going to struggle here on the road against San Fran. And it could be one of those division games where they gave them fits last year too, but still could manage to score enough points, or let alone stop the Niners offense, as this Cardinals defense still has its issues, especially when it comes to the run defense department. I think the Niners take this game home. I think they take it home at home, 38-20. Now we have the upsetter of the week. The upsetter of the week is going to be the Packers at the Rams. The Packers, who almost came back and beat the Vikings, are, in my opinion, I don't go by no odds of who's favored. I think most people watching this game, the casual fan, is going to favor the Packers over the injury bug suffered Los Angeles Rams, who had a chance last week against the Bears but couldn't stop the run, and couldn't finish drives in the red zone either, as they were able to have decent drives. I think special teams is going to be a big factor here, and the Packers special teams have struggled to times, and I think the Rams special teams, which has also struggled, gets the better of it here. There may be more Green Bay Packers fans than Rams fans, and the Rams are the home team. But I do think Matt Stafford is capable of carving up some good numbers. I think they're going to run the ball with Kyren Williams, who's been nothing short of sensational for the Rams. And I think the Packers here with Jordan Love, he looked a little nicked still from his injury, but obviously he's the guy. He's going to come back. He's going to play. I'm saying they get upset here. I expect the Packers to win, as the Rams, I don't think they can. I think it's going to be hard for them to stop their young secondary, to stop the Packers receivers. They're going to have to rely on maybe a couple turnovers, some mistakes, and try to keep the ball out of the Packers offense. Try to run the ball, control the clock. I think that's their key to victory, and I think they get that here. And an upset alert of the week: Rams at home over the Packers, 27-24. Now, Giants at the Seahawks, West Coast game later in the Sunday slay. Seahawks at home here. Last year, the Giants were at home, played the Seahawks. Daniel Jones threw a 100-yard pick six to Devin Witherspoon. I don't think he's had a pick since then, but the Seahawks defense got shredded against the Detroit Lions. So I think the Giants are going to find some things there that they can look at. And for the Seahawks' sake, as long as they have Kenneth Walker, the running back from Michigan State, the now third-year player, he tremendously bolsters their offense and makes it a big threat. He shakes tackles, he's shifty, he runs hard. He's probably one of the best young backs that hasn't been in the league for more than 4 years. He's probably number one in my opinion right now. And I think this will be a game where they rely on him. And considering the Giants are going to target Malik Neighbors. The Seahawks secondary has one job, and then this rushing attack of the Giants hasn't really threatened many teams other than the Browns 2 weeks ago. So unless they do that to the Seahawks, it's going to be hard for them to muster points. I think the Seahawks win at home here, 26-21. Now, Sunday Night Football, prime time. Cowboys at Steelers, 3-time Super Bowl matchup teams right here. This is going to be, these two teams always play each other very tight, very close. I believe I've seen 4 of their matchups dating back to 2008. This will be the 4th matchup. And this will be their 5th matchup. I'm sorry. Zeke had a tremendous career game against them his rookie year. They are back in Pittsburgh. One big note is that the Alex Highsmith for the Steelers is going to be out this game. And TJ Watt is going to be pressuring the right side of this Cowboys offensive line. And you would think that, which now the left side of the Cowboys line has a rookie tackle, which would be an ideal matchup for the Steelers and Alex Highsmith, but he's not going to be able to play. Obviously, next man up mentality, this Steelers defense still plays out of its mind at home and its defense, and this is going to be a challenge for the Cowboys. They need to protect their quarterback, and they need to be able to have good plays on first down, run the ball, have positive plays on first down so they're not in 3rd and long purgatory for most of this game. And I think for the Steelers' sake, on offense, they need to finish drives. They need to finish drives and take care of the ball if they want to have success against this Cowboys defense, who had a better showing last week against the Giants, especially in their run department. And this is where I think the Cowboys' key to victory is to be able to limit the run. Key in on Justin Fields as he's a mobile quarterback. Hasn't been shredding teams like he did for the Bears necessarily, but his run is more controlled. It's like when he has to, not just because he's getting out of the pocket because he doesn't know how to read. He's actually been reading the field really well has a higher completion percentage so far this year than his opponent in Dak Prescott. So this will be something to look at. I think the quarterback that's more efficient and makes fewer mistakes will be the one that has his team in the position to win. So this is going to be a slobber knocker right here. A good old Jim Ross Oklahoma Sooner catchphrase. I think the Cowboys and the Steelers will entertain everyone across the nation, and I think the Cowboys will come out on top here with a score of 23-20. Defensively, this will be a test for both teams, and it'll be a fun one to watch, and I'm all there for it. So now wrapping up the week with Monday Night Football, Saints at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are currently 4-0. Lost a couple of injuries. They have Rashee Rice was lost on IR for the whole year towards ACL, and the Saints, who should have won last week against the Falcons as they were in the driver's seat, and the Falcons, but pick 6 and a muffed punt led to scoring plays for the Atlanta special teams and defense, and that just can't happen if you're a coach of the Saints. And now you're going into hostile territory, on the verge of going under 500, as if they lose this game, they'll be 2-3. They need to win this game to be over 500, as teams in the NFC South are more competitive this year than the way they were the year before. If the Saints, have aspirations of going to the playoffs with this roster they have. In Arrowhead Stadium, I don't see this Chiefs defense letting up. They're disciplined. Steve Spagnuolo has them dialed in. I think if they can get some pressure on Carr and lock down these receivers, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, who is a great duo, by the way, but I think that's just too much for them to handle. I think Trent McDuffie, Nick Bolton, and this Chris Jones-led defensive front is just too much to handle. The Saints need to try to establish a run game, and if they fail to do that, it's going to be a long day for them, I fear. And don't get the Chiefs off the hook either. They're going to have to find some type of offense, as Travis Kelce has 0 receiving touchdowns through the first 4 weeks of the season, and they have a bunch of injuries. Some receivers are still dropping passes, like Sky Moore. So it's going to be something for them to figure out too against the Saints defense that is definitely among the top 12 in the league right now so far this season. So expect this to be another defensive juggernaut. But I do think the Chiefs are the ones that are going to come out on top, remaining undefeated along with the Vikings. So I think 2 undefeated teams still remain after week 5. I think the Chiefs win here at home 23-17 over the New Orleans Saints. And then the teams on the bye week. Usually in previous years, I've started the week with the byes, but the 4 teams that are on bye week 5 is the Detroit Lions, the Los Angeles Chargers, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Tennessee Titans. They'll definitely heal some injured players and be back to play again in week 6. And that's how week 5 is looking. 4 teams on bye, so that means we have 14 matchups. So let's see how it goes. My upset alert is the Rams over the Packers. As the home team, they're an upset alert. Maybe I can work on the upset alerts a little better for you guys. But until then, you enjoy week 5, and I'll see you guys soon. NATOR'S out.